And we're back, continuing on with locating smoking deals, part one of it. So we've moved on from bandit signs to direct mail my way. As you see here, I say no postcards, no yellow letters. Well, how are you going to do direct mail, Tyrone? Okay, well, the way I do it is that whenever I do something, just like you saw with the bandit signs, I want to be different from what everyone else is doing. That's a way to get a foothold on your competition, is doing things, the same thing, but adding your twist to it where you stand out from the competition. That's my thing, and you don't have to do it. You can use postcards, you can use yellow letters. The process that you're going to see on the video dedicated to that, and this is just the setup video for those set of videos, but I'm going to somewhat fill in some holes for you on that, on those set of videos that will come after this module. So, but the direct mail my way. Okay, so direct mail works because you're targeting mainly absentee owners, which an absentee owner, which I'm going to give you the definition here. I put it up on Google. Remember, guys, Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend. Obviously, you're getting everything you need in this course, but things happen and new stuff happens. Just remember, Google is your friend. All I did, say if I'd have just said the term the absentee owner and assumed that you knew what it was, some people would have said, well, what is an absentee owner? And one never thought of just to go to Google and type in define absentee owner or definition of absentee owner. So what it is, it's an individual who owns a piece of real estate but does not live in it. An absentee owner may also be an entity such as a corporation or real estate investment trust, aka a RIT. Okay, so basically what it's saying here is they own the property, but they don't live in it. Okay, you can only have one homestead. Any additional real estate, residential property is what we're talking about here. Any additional houses will be considered absentee. So as a direct mail campaign, we're going to buy a list to target absentee owners. So where do you get those lists? And why would you target absentee owners? You're looking for levels of motivation. Someone could be motivated to sell their actual home that they live in, but they're more likely to be more motivated to sell a house that they don't live in, that they own. They could be a landlord, as I mentioned before, that are tired of renting and tired of bad tenants and fixing properties. Could be a property, an additional property that you owe taxes on, and you're sitting there vacant, needs a lot of repairs, and you're tired of paying taxes on it. Could it be a property that you picked up in or someone picked up in a divorce? And I've had a woman sell me a property for cheap just because she knew her husband loved that investment property, but she got it through a divorce. All right, it could be an inherited property. The property is in Chicago, but the person lives in Birmingham, Alabama, which is where I'm located. They're never moving to Chicago. So that property may be a problem. That's an out-of-town absentee owner. Even better, those are even more attractive than the in-town in a lot of situations because they're trying to deal with a property from hours away. Just a long distance. So those are even more attractive. So as a direct mail campaign, the reason you're going to target absentee owners. So how do you attain your absentee list? Well, what you'll do is there are two places that I recommend. I recommend ListSource first and Melissa Data second. Okay, both places are great places to obtain an absentee list. This is Melissa Data and this is ListSource. Okay, now what ListSource is going to be, you're going to see that in the video example when I'm actually putting the campaign together. So with that being said, is that whenever you order your list, as I said, I'm going to show you the criteria that you need, so don't worry. You can just add it to your liking or whatever, but I'm going to show you the criteria that I use when I'm building a list. So the way I go about it is that I'll buy a list. Most people will buy a list from ListSource, and they will buy a list, we'll just say, of 1,000 names, right? and they'll mail to everyone on that list. I don't do it that way. As I said, I try to be different and stand out from the rest and be more efficient. What I do is I buy a smaller list. You have to spend a minimum of $50 on list source, a smaller list, and well, one thing on list source, one just negative on them. If you're going to use a credit card, if you need to use a credit card, go to Melissa Data and order your list. If you have a PayPal account, list source will work fine. I'm not sure why they have that glitch. You can order with a credit card, but you have to speak to one of their reps, and they're not that good at calling you back. But if you order through PayPal, you get the list immediately. I just wanted to say that. I just want to get that disclaimer about them from my experience. Okay, so, but whenever I order a list, I'm going to order a smaller list, 350 to 400 names. And so there's no reason, if you order a list of 1,000 people or with that 500 or 400 names that I may order, if I mail out to everyone, some of those people on that list are going to have properties that have mortgages that won't allow a deal to happen. Not that a mortgage will prevent a deal from happening. It's just how much they owe prevents the deal from happening. That's the issue. So what I'm doing is that, and you'll see on the instructional video that'll come after this. What I do is I actually go through each property looking for equity. I'm on an equity hunt. Remember the example that I gave about finding deals versus deals, looking for deals versus deals finding you? I'm on an equity hunt. And what I'm looking for is a certain amount of equity. Normally, I'm looking for at least 50% minimum equity, right? And sometimes you can tell by just simply, what you'll see in the video, by simply doing a Google search, and sometimes you can't. So just keep that in mind, that I'm on an actual a search for equity. So it makes the list or it doesn't make the list. But I'm doing due diligence on each property. Again, this is a more efficient, it's a cheaper way of doing it, but it will cost you more of your time doing it this way. So just keep that in mind. So if you could only do 10 a day or 50 a week, that may take you 3 or 4 hours, to do that. So you have to just budget your time or manage your time to accommodate that. And the actual mailing per piece is more expensive, but it's actually worth it to do it that way. So let me do this also. While this loads, I'm going to go to envelopes.com on the mailer. So I'm going to go back here. Okay. All right. So Direct Mail My Way. All right. These are the mailers that I actually use. You'll see on the video, on the instructional video, but I need to add this. On the instructional video, I show you that I use just one label. But I learned through trial and error, and then after I did the video, that placing both addresses on one label confuses the postal service. All right, this envelope that I use, you'll use 2 labels, so you'll use a smaller label than I recommend in the instructional video. So I want to give you a heads up on that. But you'll do just like you do with a normal letter. You'll place your return address in the top left and the seller's address in the bottom right. All right, now the size mailer I use the same size mailer as if you were going to receive a document through FedEx or UPS, which is a 9.5 by 12.5. And I get those from envelopes.com. And the actual model product number is 84477. Let me see if the site is populated here. There it is. All right, boom. So I'm going to type in 84477. Let me see what we get. Boom. So that's the mailer that I use there. Okay, now why do I use that mailer? The reason that I use the mailer is again, I like to stand out from the competition. Just like you ordered a list of absentee owners, others in your market and outside your market will do the same thing. People sort their mail over the trash can because of all the junk mail. But if they receive that size mailer, it's the same cardboard, paperweight style that FedEx and UPS uses, they're going to likely open your piece of mail. As a direct mail campaign marketer, or your objective is to get your message read. and you just let the situation and numbers take over from there as far as their level of motivation. But if your message is never read, how are you doing it? Well, you say, well, if someone sends me a postcard, blah, 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 it's already open. Yeah, trust me. I've made all the mistakes for you. This gets premium attention. Premium attention if you do it this way. Again, if you look at the videos that will come after this, they'll go into more detail about putting this campaign together. But remember, it's going to show in those instruction videos to use one label, but don't do that. You're going to use two labels, probably about the half size of that. And you're going to put your return address in the left corner like a normal letter and the seller's address in the bottom right. It confuses the postal service. And these cost $1.15 each, which is more expensive than a postcard or just stick it in a normal envelope. But you're not going to send as many because you're being more efficient by looking for equity. So you're going to send less, but you're going to get more results. Trust me on this. Hopefully this makes sense. We'll move on to the next module of locating smoking deals. And as a recap, Direct Mail My Way. I like to do things different and stand out from the competition. I'd suggest you do the same. Okay, and take advantage of the next videos to come up to explain this in more detail how to put this campaign together. Thanks. I'll see you on the other side.